I'm built like a seal. Antelope.
We're not going as far as anteater.
Antelope slash anteater.
These beasts are a threat to all of our lands. It's time. Hiccup.
Absolutely amazing film. You hit
Thank
the
you.
right marks, and it was such an adventure. And we watched a film together.
Yes, we did.
And it was.
So we were together. My daughter was on my left, and my son was beside her.
How old?
And so 14 and 12. My son's
Okay.
14, my daughter's 12. And they were raised on your movies, on the original movies. And every few minutes, something would happen, and my daughter would turn to me and go, she would be like, I'm like, yes, it's happening. It's happening. So
great.
the feeling is there. Congratulations. It must have been such an incredible thrill to see a world that you essentially created visually and storytelling wise come together in a new way. What was it like for you to experience watching it?
Watching it all assemble?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, putting it together, I could still rely upon my emotional reaction to it. And so, you know, the crafting of the director's cut is like, where did it feel right to me, and where did it feel too long, and where were the performances feeling truthful? And then maybe it's like, it's the opposite of a superpower for me. Then I get desensitized and I have an emotionally numb reaction. Like right now, I can't watch the movie and feel anything. But I rely on the audience.
Yeah.
You know? So you get it to a point, and then you sort of hand it over to the audience and let them authentically respond to it. And hopefully, you know, those bets and calculations you've made, this will hit them, this will get them crying, this will make them cheer. Hopefully some of those come to fruition.
I mean, there's that sequence, the test drive sequence. It is brilliant. You immerse us into this world that really felt real to us. It's so. There must be a scene for you, and you must have been like, I hit the mark. This is perfect.
Well, that one's really gratifying, because from the moment that we screened the movie for the first time at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, 2 months ago, that got cheers, like that got applause, which obviously means it really thrilled people. And yet it's quite, when we set out to make it, we tried to be quite shot for shot in that moment.
No way.
As well as the earlier one when Hiccup first touches Toothless.
Yeah.
Those two scenes are so iconic from the animated movie that they're iconic to the whole franchise, the whole trilogy, the TV series, everything. And we set out with the challenge and the task of recreating it in live action as closely as we could, so that we could we could make more departures elsewhere in the movie.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
We
love it.
want to show you some pictures that you've actually shared
On
social and get your story behind them.
Okay.
So here you are with the whole crew on stage. What was it like presenting this film alongside everybody?
Because you've been shooting this for a while now. It's been in the mix for a while, and to be able to bring everyone back together and have this moment must have been special.
It was, and you know, everybody's split up. You become this tight-knit family, and it's really intense for a while, and then everyone scatters and goes off to do other projects while we're, you know, putting it together and doing all the visual effects. So it's a real moment of pride, because on day one of the shoot, I said, I don't know how this is going to do financially, but I can promise you, we're going to do everything I can to make sure that all of your, you know, blood, sweat, and tears that you're about to pour into this yields a movie we can all be really proud of. Like, if we can take our loved ones to a screening of this movie and feel like it was worth the sacrifice and the late nights and the time spent away from families, then it's worth something. We all know what it's like to work on movies where that's not the case, and you're a little bit embarraed that you worked on it. Doesn't feel like it was worth the
have you
effort.
ever been embarrassed? No.
Yes.
Which one?
The early movies that I worked on,
Is there one particular one? No.
Thumbelina, Troll in Central Park, The Pebble and the Penguin.
Okay, you got a view. But there's Mason and you have Nico, two amazing characters.
Yeah.
When was it that moment for you as the director, you knew that you made the right decision, that they were these characters?
Oh, you know, I felt it in the auditions, because we started with lots of talented actors for each role, and Mason and Nico just kept rising to the top, so that they ended up being, you know, the best of 5, the best of 3, and finally just the best. Their chemistry together was so strong, and they were doing scenes that I had written for the movie, so I had a confidence, like I knew that they both had grown up with these movies, and they had a strong connection to those characters, and it was coming through their own filter, and they were bringing something to it. They weren't just aping Jay Baruchel and America Ferrera. They were bringing their own their own souls into it. And yes, once we put them on camera, it kind of lit up. It felt authentic.
Did Jay say anything like, yo, he's perfect? Or like, was he like, I don't know, it's kind of like me?
When we were down to 3 choices for each actor, I sent them to Jay and I sent them to America. And America was funny because she liked all 3 actresses, but then she said, for what it's worth, I like Mason for Hiccup.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun. They've been so supportive, and it's really fun I think for them as well to be able to hand the torch on to someone else.
Special.
But it must have been cool as well on set. You've lived with these characters for such a long time. To watch performers bring something new. Like, what were the things that you discovered about those characters or about the way they work or the world works that maybe I don't know if you must have considered everything, or maybe there were things that you hadn't considered before.
Yeah, there was an alchemy in general when you hand the scene off to actors. If you've done all the preparation, you're there on the day, the cameras are in place, the lights, and then you just, as an actor, what I learned, it was a big epiphany, is now you give over control and you put it in the hands of the actors and let them shape it, figure out their own pace and emphasis, and suddenly lines are dropping out and new lines are coming in, and it's taking on a spontaneous truth.
And you're okay with that as a director?
I'm okay with it, but there was one moment in particular where it's the scene in which Hiccup is basically having his graduation day. All of the Vikings are assembled, and Stoic's up there giving a speech, and Hiccup's in the tunnel like he's about to march out there to supposedly kill a dragon, but he's going to show everybody they don't have to. And there was something about when we put the camera on Mason's face and he was listening to his father give a speech to everyone. And he says, if somebody had told me in a few short weeks that Hiccup would go from, Hiccup, and everybody laughs. And just the way Mason played it, just hearing the mockery and the ridicule and seeing the sting hit his face and understanding this is why he's perfect for the role, because he represents the outsider. He represents those kids who are like the misfits that are made fun of. And I was one. So it brought me to tears in the moment. And I thought, okay, it's so reassuring, because this is a dimension that I didn't feel as strongly in the animated version, because it's just that much more real, and it's right in the surface, seeing a human actor react to something like that and still know that he's going to walk out there and follow his instincts.
Do you see a lot of yourself in Hiccup?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because it's I think, and a lot of people do. That's the thing. Most people that come up to me who love How to Train Your Dragon relate to Hiccup for being a character who at first feels the pressure to be like everyone else and assimilate, but then discovers through the course of the story that, if he's his authentic self, he can watch the world change around him. And that's a hero, that's a hero that's welcome in this world. Like, not just following your conditioning, but actually just being authentic.
Hiccup's your hero.
Yeah.
He's a great hero. I want to show you a person fully authentic in their element right here. Look at this guy. I love this picture so much.
This photo. It says so much.
We had mentioned just a while ago how you've been living with this for so long, and you've been living with these characters for so long. In your head, was there a hesitation or something that made you very nervous about the idea of bringing this to live action?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was very nervous. In fact, I thought, oh God, what if we do all of this work and we build these sets and we make these costumes, and then when we start rolling cameras, it just feels like a bunch of people in costume acting out a play. Like, I was afraid that you were going to feel the artifice. Like, what if we put this beard and costume on Gerard Butler and it just looks like Gerard Butler at a Renaissance fair? Like, that would be...
Which would still be a great... I mean, I would love to go to a Renaissance fair and be like, oh.
It could be such an embarrassing outcome. But thankfully, I think everyone took it really seriously. So the actors, the costumers, the set builders, and our cinematographer, Bill Pope, when we started rolling cameras, I felt a sigh of relief, because it has such confidence. Like, it's real. Like this, I kept saying, this is Ridley Scott beautiful,
Yeah, right.
Because so many setups where you look at the composition and everything, and it feels, this is a serious movie. This isn't a parody of something.
Even the dragons, everyone, it has its own personalities, from the walrus to the Black Panther. When you look at that, do you look at the characters and go, this is fitting to the dragon, the ones that are riding it? Is that how you went around it.
Yes, yeah. We did try to pair like the individual personalities of the
To
recruits
yeah.
to the dragons. So you've got the arguing twins who are on the arguing two-headed dragon, and yes, there's that natural connection. But also, the dragons from the animated movie are pretty broad. Most of them are pretty cartoony, and so we had to go through the mentality of let's work backwards. Like if the animated movie was a caricature of a real animal, what did the real animal look like?
Right.
And so we leaned much more into, like when we got into the Monstrous Nightmare, he's much more of a crocodile. We studied crocodiles and the texture of their skin and the way they walk. Or like a big hippo or walrus, which is the gronkel, you know.
Yeah.
What do those characters look like? And how does the fat jiggle and, you know, the creases and the temperament? And or like a very curious tropical bird, which is the deadly nadder.
Yeah.
It's like those bird-like movements. Really quick to the attack, and of course Toothless, the Black Panther. He's a Black Panther mixed with a salamander, but even though he has that big expressive face, which, you know, eyes are not that big on any creature in nature, including a blue whale, we still managed to find enough of his personality carried over from the animated movie, married with a lot of study of big cats and how they move and the rippling muscles under the skin.
You're really into this.
But that's the animator. That's the animator, right? You have to live in all of it. So if you're going to read us both, if you're going to look at us both and be like, okay, I have to pair them with dragons. What's her dragon? What's my dragon?
Do I have to pick from existing dragons?
You can do whatever you like.
If there's an animal, I guess, right? I look like the cheetah, and he looks like
Hold on.
the antelope.
What?
I don't know.
I can't see your face right now. What's she doing? What's going on?
Oh man.
I mean, there's something.
I mean the
I
hair.
got quick movements too.
Yeah, quick
I can be
movements.
fast, you know.
Right.
You are fast.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Thin. I bet you're agile.
Yeah,
I bet you could bound.
I like that. Put that
Yeah.
on my resume.
Yeah.
Can
And
bound.
you're very elegant.
Oh, thank
I would
you.
imagine if we hadn't already used a Black Panther, I would use a Black Panther.
Right.
Because there's something powerful and elegant about that creature.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Powerful and elegant.
See, we're best friends now. You.
I can bound. I can bound. I can bound. So
I love her assessment. You're the antelope dragon.
the antelope. Listen, I have the utmost respect for antelopes. I would do it. I can
No, the anteater. That's what I'm thinking.
You're thinking anteater.
Anteater,
Oh,
okay.
thank you. Thank
That's
you.
a whole other. That's a whole
Wait, the
other.
other way. Epic Universe. You went recently, and did you have a pinch me moment to be able to see your world come to life, where people get to experience it in a different way?
Yeah, that's a head trip. That's
Yeah.
bizarre. It made me recall a conversation that I had with Chris Sanders back on Mulan,
Yeah.
and we were talking about if in those Disney days, if your movie was enough of a success, at the end of it you would get a Disney on Ice show.
All right. Okay.
And we're like, that was the measure of success.
That was the
Like we
success.
made it. You know, now it's a theme park.
Yeah.
Like, if your movie's a big enough success, you get a theme park. And it's bizarre. You walk through the gates and you're in this world, and you don't even see the adjoining worlds that make up Epic Universe.
Yeah.
It's so faithful to the design work that our production designer and the artist did. Like everything about it feels like it's How to Train Your Dragon 2 brought to life.
Right.
And really incredible. Probably not supposed to say this, but it's Disney good. Like if you're ever in Disneyland and you think the attention to detail is amazing, like it's so much better than a lot of other theme parks, it's that good. The manholes. Like I walked into the bathroom and the placards defining like men and women were also in Viking theme.
Very
Like
cool.
everything. They didn't overlook a single detail.
Yeah.
And your words were written on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that must have been so. I called you dude. Yeah. I mean, that
Yeah.
is a moment. Did you have a chance to take it all in?
Yes. I mean, I did walk around and it was, you know, always with a camera pointed at me, and I was sweating because it was very hot. But it is amazing, and I do think about it quite a bit. Like people are going to have these really rich experiences and memories walking around that theme park. They might not have seen the film. It'll make them watch the movies, and that might make them read the books. And there's just something about this being like, it has really settled in pop culture.
When you were starting out as an animator, was that something that was in your mind, that you were like, I've got all this that I want to share, and one day everyone's going to know it, everyone's going to see it?
I wanted to be part of it. And I didn't even think that the idea of movies was possible. Like, I grew up in Aylmer, Quebec. Like, I could draw. I thought the greatest like fulfillment of my ambition would be maybe one day I could be a comic book artist. But I wanted to be part of like creating characters and telling stories. And then I found my way into Sheridan and into their classical animation program in Oakville, and did 3 years of that. And suddenly I was moving closer and closer to this destination of writing and directing movies. And the funny thing is now, I'm that far enough in my career when I'm meeting people at events where they'll come up and say, I'm in animation. I studied animation because of the How to Train Your Dragon movies or Lilo and Stitch. Like, I'm here because of your movies, which is the same thing I said when I met George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Like, I'm here because of your movies. It was E.T. and it was Star Wars that got me excited. So I'm part of the cycle. We're all of us that work on these movies, we're part of the cycle of inspiring a new generation to do the same thing, to tell their stories.
We're going to finish, but I have one thing to show you. We did an interview with Tia, Lilo and Stitch, and she gave you a shout out. And we wanted to show you because it's such a special moment for us. And we wanted to share that with you.
Okay.
We can have the volume
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, that'd be great.
Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders said, how would you say goodbye to your sister? Like, is there a Hawaiian phrase or whatever? I said, there's a beautiful song of love and farewell written by Queen Liliuokalani, our last reigning queen in Hawaii, and it's called Aloha Oi. And I sang it for them, and the
Like actions.
Aloha Oi, Aloha Oi, Eke ona ona noho ikalipo, one fond embrace, ahoy, until we meet again.
Right?
Fantastic.
And-
She sang that for Chris Sanders and I at a restaurant in Pasadena, California, the night that we met her. When we were talking about the character, and she exactly that. We're like, we're struggling with this scene where she has to tell her little sister that the family's going to break apart and she's not going to be able to look after her anymore. And she sang that for us at the restaurant, in the restaurant. Amazing.
You talk about the cycle and you're part of her cycle.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's pretty amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for the time,
you.
man, and
Yeah.
congrats again on this. It's
I'm the
what
Black
an-
Panther and you're...
I will take antelope.
Antelope.
We're not going as
Sweet.
far as ant.
Antelope slash anteater. An ant-eating antelope.
Dragon be?
I don't know, like maybe, I feel like a gronkle.
I feel like
I'm built like a seal, maybe a seal dragon. Something that belongs in the Arctic.
I also like in the world of How to Train Your Dragon, you're going out with your friends. You're like, "What do you want to ride tonight?" No, I feel like a gronkle. Yeah, I feel like a gronkle. Let's go ride one. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. It's
That was
great.
awesome.
Thank you.
Watch out! Pick up!